Hi everyone, welcome back to Finance, Relationships, and Reddit. Today we've got a story from Relationship Advice from Throwaway Level Exam. What a creative name. And it is called My 36-year-old female daughter, 18-year-old female friend, 18-year-old female, stole a $4,900 watch from my husband, 56-year-old male, and we don't know how to tell her parents.
So let me understand this correctly.
Yeah.
Daughter's 18-year-old friend.
So, yes.
18?
Wait. Sorry. Can we just concentrate on one thing first? So, she's 36. Her husband is 56.
Yeah.
Their daughter is 18.
Yeah.
And the friend who stole the watch is also 18.
Right. Okay.
And the watch is $4,900.
Okay. 4,900. So basically just around,
It's
around
about
5K.
Right. Why is there a 20-year gap between you and your husband? Is my first question. Right.
Well, that means they had her when she was 18, right?
Yeah. Our daughter, 18-year-old female, has been friends with this girl, 18-year-old female, for about 8 or 9 months.
8 or 9 months. This is just. I mean, before you even start, if this was like some sort of relationship since they were 4, it would be something. But this is 8 or 9 months. Go straight to the parents and say, "Hey, look, your kid has just stolen £5,000. I'm pressing charges. I'm calling the police unless you return the watch."
Yeah, it's weirdly one of those graphs where it starts out small and then there's a big bell curve and then it goes back to small with tell parents. Because if you know them since they were 4, you feel comfortable enough to tell their parents that their daughter's done something. And if you don't know them at all, then you have to tell the parents because their child is terrible.
If you feel uncomfortable about telling the parents, I've got a better solution. Call 999 and say, "Excuse me, this 18-year-old, this adult has stolen $5,000 from me." You don't have to tell the parents if you don't want to. I'm just saying for point of courtesy.
I think you need to tell the parents.
You do not need to. There's no obligation you need to if they are 18 years old. 18.
Oh yeah, I guess you call the parent. You call the police, and then the parents know, anyways.
Exactly.
Okay, the last few months, she started inviting her to her house more often because they are classmates and sometimes they have projects to do together. Well, last week she came to our house and my husband, 56 male, was helping them with a project since they are studying the same thing he studied. And at one point, my youngest daughter came home with her friend, so my eldest daughter and her friend went back to the husband's office. And according to him, he had taken off his watch and left it on his desk, and our daughter saw it, so he was right. But when her friend left, the watch was gone, and after searching for it throughout the house, I, 36 female, decided to check the security cameras, and she took it when she was left alone in the office for less than 5 seconds.
Sold. Done. There we go. That's the one thing you want to make sure is 100% her that did it. If you've got it on camera, call the police.
To my surprise, my daughter wasn't surprised because according to her, this is the 3rd time that valuable things have disappeared from our house. The first 2 times she stole a pair of gold earrings and a gold necklace from my daughter, and she thought she lost them because she honestly loses things all the time. But my daughter is sure that her necklace and earrings were in her jewelry box and that her friends took them. And now my husband and I don't know if we should tell her parents since she has stolen a significant sum of money from our house.
If we should tell their parents.
No, call the police!
Call the police.
Call the police.
She is 18 years old. 18 years old. Yeah. Call the police.
I'm kind of on the fence from the title, but call the police. Call the police. And now my husband and I don't know if we should tell her parents because she has stolen a significant sum of money from our house, and the last thing we want is to get the police involved. Why?
Why?
Oh my God, they're drug dealers.
Well, I'm starting to have a weird question of why not, but carry on. Let's see.
We just want to get our stuff back and help her get help because she clearly has a problem.
So what you do there is you call the police and you say, "Look, she's stolen these items. The value of this is X. And here's the footage to prove that she did it. But look, if you can go over to her house, this is where she lives, with her parents, and you can get us it back, we will not press charges. But if you cannot, and if they resist, we're going to press charges.
Conspiracy theory, they're definitely drug dealers.
Because the thing about it is, then you're far more likely to get the items back when a policeman is at the door knocking, going, here's my phone, this is you stealing on this person's house, evidence, rather than you doing it.
But the thing is, then it would have to be processed through evidence and you wouldn't get the items back for a very long time.
No.
Yes.
So what's the crime? What's the evidence?
The evidence is the items themselves.
When you're not pressing charges.
Oh, if you don't... Okay, right, I see what you mean. Okay. How can you talk to parents about this without them being offended?
What? Being offended? How much money do you have, for God's sake?
In total?
A £5,000 watch goes missing. Your daughter
earrings
apparently just loses things like gold earrings, and you're like, oh,
and a necklace.
I don't want to offend anyone.
In total, she stole $6,000 from our house, and that's not right. But she's young, and we want to give her another chance.
18. Adult.
And we want to give her another chance. And that's why we're not going to involve the police. And that's why we also want to talk to her parents. What would be the correct way to face the situation? Edit, just to clarify, they're in college and the decision not to involve the police has to do with that. We don't want to affect them, her academically. Thank you. And I say that we want to talk to her parents because she still lives with them and they're the ones who pay everything for her. Clearly not if she's stealing $6,000 from your house.
If you don't want her to be damaged academically, you know what? Fine as well. Call the police and say that to them. Say, look, I'm not trying for this to blow up. I'm not wanting massive charges. I don't want her to be kicked out uni. I want this to be dealt with quietly. But this is what's happened. Can you please help us resolve this? If they say something like, which I would be stunned if they did, but if they say something like, look, if you get us involved, we have to instantly have charges pressed, have to tell the uni and all that, then maybe. But you start from the police and you work backwards from there. Is that the end of the post?
That is the end of the post.
Okay, but let's say they have asked a question. So apart from the fact that they're absolutely idiots for not calling the police, how do you do it? Contact the parents. You meet at a neutral, busy location such as a cafe. You bring a laptop with evidence of the theft on the laptop. You obviously have copies. You bring it, and then you sit down, you get into me and say, look, we need to talk to you about something incredibly serious. Yeah. We would like to meet you here at this time. If they refuse, you call the police. If they don't, you sit them down, you say, look, I really want to show you this video. You start with that, and you say, look, this is what's happened. She's stolen my watch here, evidenced by the video. We've also noticed that other items have gone missing. For example, gold earrings. We do not have evidence of that, but there is clear evidence of a watch, and I think it's incredibly likely the earrings are as well. We will give you, let them answer to that, and then say, we will give you 48 hours to return the items. If they are returned, fine. If not, we're calling the police.
Yeah. I mean, this is one of the things where, like, you're a bit naive because a lot of the way she was writing the post, there was a lot of, like, we want to forgive her, we want to give her a second chance. Don't do any of those things. Clearly, this is not something that is going to change if you invite her to the house still, and but she will have not learned her lesson then. I think, yeah, agreed, except for the neutral location. I think it can be at their house.
Don't do it at their house. The reason you choose a neutral location is because then it becomes from a very much, this is an even equals are meeting. If you have it in their house, there's a bit of a security threat. You might feel they might try and threaten you. And also you don't want them in your house in case, the whole thing.
Yeah, you definitely don't want them in your house.
You want them in a public place where it can also be recorded in case turns out the parents are crazy. Essentially.
Maybe, right. Conspiracy theory. Maybe the parents who are drug dealers whose watch were stolen, they're probably not drug dealers.
I don't think they care. They're going to use it as a tax write-off, is my guess. They're going to say, oh, well, there's a tax write-off. I mean, obviously you can't do that. They just don't seem to care. I mean, if they don't care that much, maybe you just forgive it and just be like, oh, well.
Yeah, it must be nice to not care about
6K.
6K. Hey. And I love the daughter who's just like, oh yeah, I just lose things. I just lose
Yeah, I just lose. What?
I just lose 1K worth of jewelry on a regular basis. So, yeah.
You're getting taken advantage of, and you don't even seem to realize it. You're kind of like, well, you know.
Yeah. I say meet on a neutral location. And as you said, if nothing happens, call the cops.